After Hung left, Tieu Ca gradually fell into a precarious situation. Her ex-husband seemed to have repented, but in fact, still secretly set traps. Hung's brother, CEO James, was the only one who noticed something was wrong. I don't believe a guy like ex-husband can change so fast. One day, when James was at work, he received an anonymous call. If you don't protect Ly Tieu Ca, she will have no way to live. James immediately investigated. He sent someone to follow his ex-husband and discovered he is colluding with some gangsters to trap Tieu Ca. Meanwhile, Hung's father also began to suspect, even though he previously opposed Tieu Ca. But when she saw her son sad because he left her, his heart is not at peace. One day, he decided to meet his ex-husband privately to test his feelings. "Do you really love Tieu Ca?" he asked. Ex-husband smiled faintly, his eyes sly, of course. "But love or not love is not important, as long as I get my honor back." Just that one sentence made Hung's father understand everything. He clenched his fists and left angrily. Then, he just realized that he was wrong to believe his ex-husband, and protested against the hero coming to Tieu Ca. Knowing the truth, Hung's father decided to meet his son. "My son was wrong. Tieu Ca is not a greedy person. The ex-husband is the despicable one." Hung was stunned. This was the first time his father admitted his mistake. "So you accept her?" Hung nodded in a low voice. "I have to find her before it's too late." Only then did Hung realize that he had lost Tieu Ca for too long. He immediately ran away. Just hope it's still in time to protect the woman he loves. Hung rushed on the familiar road. His heart was pounding in his chest. He left Tieu Ca because he thought it was good for her. But now I understand that I was wrong. When he arrived at Tieu Ca's boarding house, he saw James already there. Tense face. Hung asked James, "Where is Tieu Ca?" James turned back with a serious look. She was just taken away by her ex-husband. What Hung clenched his fists, his eyes flashed with anger. Where is he taking her? James quickly gave Hung an address. An abandoned warehouse in the suburbs. He sent someone there. But we need to act now. Without hesitation, immediately rushed forward. At the warehouse, Tieu Ca was tied to a chair. Her ex-husband stood in front of her with a cold expression. "You think you can escape me?" Tieu Ca looked at him with resentful eyes. "You are just fooling yourself. I don't have any feelings for you anymore." Ex-husband laughed sarcastically. She thought Hung would save her, but he left her. But he would be back. Just then, the warehouse door opened. Hung walked into her cold eyes to let her go. Ex-husband clenched fist. "You think you can take her away from me?" Not waiting for ex-husband to react, Hung rushed forward and threw a strong punch that knocked him to the floor. "This is the last time I warn you. Never appear before her again." The police immediately rushed in and arrested her ex-husband. Hung ran to Tieu Ca and gently untied her. "You're late," her voice choked. Hung hugged her tightly. But I will never leave you again. After all the storms, Hung's father finally accepted Tieu Ca. I was wrong to think she was not worthy. But now I understand. As long as it makes you happy, that's enough. Hung smiled and held Tieu Ca's hand to thank his father. A few months later, Hung and Tieu Ca's wedding took place. In the blessings of everyone, little Han ran to hug his mother and then held Hung's hand. Hung, I love you too, ba. Hung bent down and hugged both mother and child. From now on, they will no longer have to fear anything, because they found each other and will never leave each other. After the wedding, Hung officially became Tieu Ca's husband and is the father of little Han. Their lives gradually stabilized. No more days of worrying about the future or fear dark conspiracies. Tieu Ca opened a small bakery as she always dreamed. Hung continues his business career, but he spends more time with his wife and children. What are you baking today? Hung just entered the shop and hugged Tieu Ca from behind. Strawberry cake for little Han. She has a performance at school today. Remember to pick up the child later. Hung kissed her forehead gently, his voice full of love. I know, wife. Tieu Ca laughed. Feels so happy with life now. One day, Hung's father came to visit them. Tieu Ca was a little worried, but Mr. Hong Min changed his mind. Not as strict as before, but instead a more gentle look. Little brother, I know I was wrong before. Thank you for bringing happiness to Hung. Tieu Ca was moved and quickly poured tea to invite him. I just hope our family is always safe. Father Hung looked at his grandson Tieu Han playing in the yard. Sigh. The boy is also my nephew. If you don't mind, I want to get it. Become the official grandson of the Hong Min family. Tieu Ca was stunned, tears rolling down her face with emotion. Hung took her hand and squeezed it tightly, nodding his head in thanks to father. From then on, Tieu Ca no longer felt lost or scared. She has Hung beside her as Tieu Ca. Have a family that truly loves you, no matter how difficult life is. She knew she was no longer alone. And most of all, she found someone who was willing to be with her for the rest of her life. After being officially recognized by Father Hung, Tieu Ca's life is becoming more and more fulfilling. Little Han is loved by his grandfather. Take care of her like her own nephew, and especially Hung is always by her side. Protect mother and child. With the help of Hung, Tieu Ca's bakery is growing more and more. Become a place famous in the city. She not only finds joy in her work, but also feel the peace, which she never had before. One morning, while preparing cake for guests, Tieu Ca suddenly felt dizzy. Hung worriedly took her to the hospital. Doctor smiling. Congratulations to the couple. Tieu Ca has been pregnant for 2 months. Tieu Ca was stunned, her eyes glistening with tears of happiness. She looked at Hung. I saw that he was also moved and speechless. Hung hugged her tightly, his voice trembling. Really? We are having another angel. Little Ca nodded. Tears rolled down, but they were tears of happiness. When he heard the news, Hung's father was extremely happy. He personally went to Tieu Ca's house. Bring lots of nutritious food. Little Ca, you must take good care of your health. This baby is the treasure of our family. Little Han was also very excited to know she was going to have a baby. Mom, I will be a good brother. I will protect the baby. Hung laughed and patted his little son's head. I will also protect my family. Tieu Ca felt her heart filled with happiness. From a single woman who has suffered a lot, she now has a complete family, have a loving husband, a good child, and soon to have another little angel. She knows from now on, she will no longer have to worry or fear, because she had a real family, a family full of love. Since the day I found out I was having a baby, Hung took care of Tieu Ca more carefully. He doesn't let her do heavy work. Check every day to see if she is eating enough. Even cook nutritious dishes by yourself. My wife has to eat more and not be picky. Hung seriously fed Tieu Ca a spoonful of porridge. Tieu Ca looked at her husband, both amused and touched. I know, but you cooked too much. I can't eat it all. Hung frowned. Then you eat for me, I said, and then he picked up 8 bowls of porridge and ate it deliciously. Little Ca laughed. Is this the cold and domineering man from before? Now he is just a clumsy husband, but always want to give his wife the best. Tieu Ca is also very excited because she is going to have a baby. Every day after school, the boy runs to his mother, put tie on Tieu Ca's belly, and smiled broadly. Mom, is the baby talking to me? Hung looked at his little son and smiled, patting his head. Will you be a good brother? The uterus will protect mother and baby. One day, Hung's father called the couple to his villa. Tieu Ca was a little worried, but Hung held her hand to comfort her. I'm here, don't be afraid. When they arrived, Hung's father was already waiting. Tieu Ca gently sat down. Don't forget to put your hand on your belly to protect the baby. I want to say sorry. Tieu Ca looked at him in surprise. We had wrong thoughts about you before, but now I realize you are a good woman. Be strong and deserve happiness. Tieu Ca was so touched that she almost cried. Thank you, Dad. Father Hung looked down at her belly. Eyes are much more gentle. From now on, you are not only Hung's wife, but also my daughter-in-law. If you need anything, just tell me. For the first time, Tieu Ca felt the warmth from his father. Husband used to be strict. She looked at Hung and saw that he was also smiling with gentle eyes. Time passed and Tieu Ca gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Family gathering together. Little Han excitedly watched his little sister. Hung was so happy that his eyes were red. Thank you, Tieu Ca. Tieu Ca squeezed her husband's hand and whispered softly. Thanks, you too. From a single mother who suffered a lot, now Tieu Ca has a complete family. She knows no matter what happens, she will not be alone anymore. Because by her side, there is always Hung, the man who loves her more than anything.